The mansion was dressed in quiet grandeur, jasmine garlands draped over pillars, soft golden lights reflecting through chandeliers, the faint fragrance of rose water in the air. It was supposed to be a wedding, yet the air felt strangely heavy, more like the calm before a storm than a celebration. Servants moved swiftly through polished corridors, carrying trays of sweets, arranging flowers, lighting candles. Naima's sharp voice echoed, giving last-minute instructions, while Rida kept checking her phone anxiously, waiting for news that the bride's family had arrived. In the midst of it all, Jasim Khan sat alone in his study, half turned toward the window, the pale sunlight tracing the sharp lines of his face. He was dressed simply, a cream sherwani, gold buttons glinting faintly, but his expression was unreadable. He looked neither happy nor sad, just detached. When Naima peeked in, she forced a cheerful tone. "Brother, everyone's here. The Qazi will be arriving soon. You should come to the hall." He didn't respond at first, only turned his wheelchair slightly and said quietly, "I hope you've done what you wanted, Naima." She smiled nervously. "Everything's perfect, brother." He nodded once, a gesture that meant nothing and everything, and wheeled himself toward the hall. The sound of laughter and soft music greeted him, but he didn't look around. He'd learned long ago that faces always change the moment they saw the chair. The smile falters, the eyes soften, pity first, then discomfort. He was used to it, but it still burned every time. Across the city, Jannat's home was in chaos. Razia's shrill voice echoed from room to room, instructing the tailor, scolding Nadia, pretending excitement. "Hold the tray properly," she snapped. "The car will be here any moment." Nadia, in her embroidered dress, was fuming quietly. "Why all this rush for her?" she muttered, glancing at her stepsister, who sat quietly while a relative fixed her dupatta. "The richest family in the city. For her? Mom, are you sure they're not making a mistake?" Razia shot her a sharp glare. "Don't start, Nadia. Not today." But Nadia couldn't stop herself. "You said they're respectable, but why so secretive? Why next week? Why not later? You didn't even let Abba ask questions." Razia's voice lowered, dangerous and cold. "Because sometimes silence protects a family. Now smile. Be happy for your sister." Nadia's lip curled. "Oh, I'm very happy," she said bitterly. "Can't wait to see her perfect life." In her small room, Jannat sat in front of the mirror, her bridal dupatta heavy on her head. The reflection staring back at her didn't look like her anymore. Her eyes seemed distant, lost and deep down. A strange unease stirred inside Jannat, a fear she couldn't name. When car arrived, Razia hurried everyone out. The father, dressed simply, followed nervously, his heart both proud and heavy. He looked at Jannat, his only light after years of loss, and his eyes filled. "May God keep you happy always, daughter," he whispered, pressing his hand over her head. "Never forget, your home is always here." She hugged him tightly, trying not to cry. "I'll miss you," she whispered. He smiled faintly, hiding the tremor in his hands. Khan Mansion shimmered with quiet opulence when they arrived. The guests were few, mostly family friends and business associates, but the aura of wealth was everywhere. As they entered the event hall, the air changed. Janet's father froze. There, across the room, sitting in his wheelchair, was Jasim Khan. The world seemed to collapse around him. His breath caught. The sound of celebration faded into a dull roar. He turned sharply to Razia, disbelief, horror, and betrayal etched across his face. "What is this?" he hissed under his breath. "You didn't tell me." Razia interrupted before he could finish, her smile still fixed for the onlookers. "They told me he's in therapy," she whispered quickly. "He'll walk soon. Don't overreact." He looked at her, eyes wild. And if he doesn't? What kind of life will my daughter have? Razia's tone hardened. And what will people say if we back out now? The Bharat is here. If she doesn't marry today, no one will come again. Think of your other daughter too. I can't take that risk. Her words cut deep, and the father fell silent, helpless against the venom of her logic. He knew she was wrong, but in front of the crowd, in the face of the powerful Khan family, his voice broke before it could rise. Razia gently pulled him aside, soothing his panic with practiced sweetness. Trust me, he's a good man. And your daughter, she's lucky. Don't spoil her fate. He looked away, tears burning behind his eyes. From the corner, Naima and Raida watched the exchange anxiously. They noticed the father's pale face, the shock in his eyes, and they understood immediately. He didn't know, Raida whispered. Oh God, they didn't tell him. Naima swallowed hard, glancing toward Jasim, who sat quietly, expression blank. Did they hide from Jannat too? Naima said anxiously. No, Roma said this can't be possible, but maybe she felt unsure. Fear crept inside her. Jasim looked unbothered, detached, cold, composed. The whispers, the stares, the gasps, they had all become background noise to him. But deep down, somewhere beneath that calm, it still hurt. The wedding began. Jannat entered the hall, her face veiled in red silk, her hands trembling as she clutched her dupatta. She didn't look around, couldn't. The air was thick with murmurs, soft prayers, and tension that no music could hide. Jasim sat still, eyes fixed on the Qazi's book, his tone steady as he repeated the words. Yes, I do. Across the room, Jannat whispered the same, her voice shaking but clear. Yes, I do. And just like that, 2 lives were sealed, strangers bound by a promise neither truly made. After the ceremony, as laughter returned and sweets were passed, Janet's father slipped into a quiet corner. Tears welled in his eyes as he watched his daughter, the light of his life, sitting still, unaware of what awaited her. When she noticed him sitting alone, his shoulders trembling, she slowly stood up. Her feet hesitated, but her heart didn't. She walked toward her Baba, her bridal dress whispering softly against the floor. When she reached him, she knelt beside him, taking his hands gently. Baba, why are you crying? She asked, her voice fragile, filled with innocent concern. He looked away, his voice breaking. Forgive me, daughter, I failed you. I didn't protect you like I should have. Her heart clenched. She didn't understand, but seeing her father crumble was enough to break her. She hugged him tightly, tears wetting his shoulder. I'll be fine, Baba. Don't cry, please. Nearby, Razia stood watching, her eyes darting nervously between them. Enough of this drama, she whispered sharply. It's time to go. Her words cut through the moment like ice. Jasim's attendant rolled his wheelchair toward the car. He climbed in quietly, without looking back. Jannat followed, her veil fluttering in the night breeze, unaware of the truth sitting inches away from her. At the Khan mansion, everything shimmered again, soft lights, gentle music, perfumed air. Naima and Raida helped the new bride into the living room, cooing gently. Sit here, Jannat, Raida said warmly, adjusting her dupatta. You must be tired. They lifted her veil, and for a moment, even they were speechless. Under the soft light, her beauty was unreal, delicate yet commanding, her eyes wide with innocence, her skin glowing against the crimson of her dress. She's stunning, Naima whispered. But before Jannat could speak, the faint sound of wheels echoed across the marble floor. Her heart skipped. The sisters exchanged a look, tense, cautious. The sound grew louder, closer. Jannat turned slowly toward it, her breath catching, eyes widening. And there, at the threshold of the living room, Jasim Khan appeared, his cold gaze meeting hers for the first time. The world froze.